Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunatu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace and resolve. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you, we welcome to the satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We are now continuing our study circle on Gita Vahini. And I said we are studying the qualities of Stithaprajna. So that is where we started. So we said for people what we are talking about on your electronic copy, it is page 17, right? And on the hard copy, it is page 24, where we are just focusing on that first paragraph where Swami talks about how to get rid of delusion. Because everybody wants, Swami's goal of life is moksha. Moksha means liberation. But people don't know what moksha means. Swami said, moha chaya. That is moksha. People, oh, I want moksha means that says once you leave the body, you go someplace. Liberation, people have wrong concept. Oh, I want liberation. So I can tell a nice story. Once a person was there in Prashant Nilayam. There was a Westerner. He was 300 pounds. Said, Swami, I want to merge with you. Swami said, you are so big, I'm so small, how can you merge in me? So like that. So people sometimes, we don't know. Another person, I remember, Australian, he said, I want liberation, Swami. Swami said, come at tomorrow, 9:30, I'll give it. He never showed up. He said, because once you get liberation, you thought you will be gone, die. Because people think only when you die, you have liberation. So just in life, sometimes you don't know. So really what moksha is, you can be liberated while alive. That is what Swami said, Jivan Mukta. Jivan means you are alive, you don't need to be dead. I know after death also you can be, there is a different, Videha Mukti, once you leave the body. But even Jivan Mukti, that means when you are alive, you can get the liberation. That is why the whole thing we are talking about is Moha Chaya. He is telling how to get rid of this Moha. First, Swami, we talked about three things, hope we remember. Number one, the confusion is, who am I? We always confuse that we are this body, mind, and intellect. So Swami first, talking about in the slokas 12 to 30, he talked about that we are not this body, mind, and intellect, but we are the Atma. That is what we talked about. So then you know who we are. Then he talked about from sloka 30 to 38, what we talked about. Anybody remembers? So what is the dharma? Because he is trying to run away from his duty, which a lot of when we are frustrated with challenges, whether at work, people say they want to resign, step out, even in the organization, people can't change. Same thing, this Arjuna was faced with challenges. The easiest is, he says, let me go to the forest and meditate. Why all these war problems? So that is what we do. So he says, no, that is not your thing. You came with a purpose, a duty. So you need to do that. So that is sloka 30 to 38 to show us very important, be strong, determined to face challenges and move on till the goal. Otherwise, you'll never reach the goal. And then page 38 till 54, we talked about how to do any work. Everyone does work. How do you do that? Right now, we are all involved in the conference. I know everybody is very busy. So there are four main points we talked about. Yoga, karma, sukhaushalam. Whatever you do perfect. You are doing cooking or serving good food, do the best one. Are you doing decoration? Do the decoration the best. Transportation, you do it the best. Bhajans, you sing the best. So talks, you do that. Whatever you do to the best of the capacity, you should do. That is first definition of yoga here. Whatever, each one has a special role they can do good, like Sheshu does upmas or something like that. Each one, you do the best you can. So each one, whatever you have, you do the best. But then second thing is when you are doing that, one-pointedness. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe. When we are doing that, don't get distracted here and there, get scattered brain. You need to focus 1, 2, 3 points. This is important and get it done. So these are very practical. We talk how to do that. And third thing is you should do with detachment. So always somebody will have success in what you do or will have failure. Sometimes you plan to put tiles somewhere or some, it may not happen. So yatna prayatna mano, just effort is important though, sincere effort. Go on trying. But the outcome, success and failure is in his hands. So you constantly remember, hey, I did my best. So do the best, leave the rest in his hands. That is what the formula. Do the best, leave the rest in his hands. That is another thing. So for that, the best is, he says, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So all the, whatever we do, you dedicate all the results of the action to God. Then it won't bind you. Otherwise, when you do good, you'll get good. When you do bad, you'll get bad. But you dedicate to Him, nothing will bind you. Like doing good, you say, yeah, I want good, what is wrong? No, that is a gold chain. And you do bad, you'll get that iron chain. Chain is a chain, it binds you. So if you don't want to be bound, so dedicate both good and bad to God, because there is nothing purely good, nothing purely bad. Everything is mixture in life. So even when we are walking, we may tread on some microbes, some things. When you're eating, you may think when you're sweeping, all the things, there is nothing purely good, purely bad. Always is a mixture. So to get out of this bondage, we showed the secret is dedicate everything. Krishna Arpanamastu, Sai Arpanamastu. So he has to dedicate. So these are 4 principles of action he talked. Then Arjuna had a question. Okay, you talk about that. Then how is this man who is enlightened, who is really got moksha? How does he think? Because people say he is an evolved soul, he's a great soul, he's realized. What is he talk about? What are the qualities? Ka bhasha. Prabhasheta, how does he talk? Kim asita, how does he sit? And Vajeta Kim, how does he move about? So he asks all the questions. What are his qualities? How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he move about? So you want to know the qualities. So you know how the enlightened man behaves. So we went up to sloka 66. So the summary is, first he says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmaneva atmanatushta. Main thing is, he is content within himself. He's always happy, bliss. That is the first thing. Atmanyeva atmanatushta. He is, tushta means happy, content within himself. He doesn't need anything outside. He doesn't need any sense enjoyment. He doesn't need family. He doesn't need friends. He doesn't need properties. He doesn't need anything to be happy. He is happy by himself. So whenever your happiness is dependent on outside thing, you will have misery, because you may not always get what you want. Whether things or people or family, you will always be disappointed because you are dependent on, sometimes who are so-called friends may become enemies, so-called family people will give trouble. So be content within yourself. That is the first qualification he said. Atmanyev atmanatushta. For that, prajahati yada kaman sarvan, you need to give away all your self-centered desires. Then how does this man behave? He says he is not in the sarvatra anabhisneha. He always looks not getting, he is like a water on a lotus leaf. So he is there, but not there. That means he acts like he's very busy, but his mind is always with God. That is because that's why he is happy. That is the important quality. Then why do we get these desires? Because if we don't have desires, we won't be born. Swami said, man minus desire equal to God. So once you get rid of desires, you are divine always. We are always divine, but because of the desires, and he says, but then if you have desires, you'll be born again to fulfill the desires. Somebody said, yeah, it is okay. What is wrong in being born? Yeah, if you want to, you think it is enjoyment, be born again and again, do that. But you think, my God, enough misery, like Lord Buddha realized, Lord Krishna said, this life is temporary because you may live for 20 years, 50, 60, 80 years, whatever it is, after that you are gone. So one thing is sure, temporary. And always we know this is mixture of pleasure and pain. There is nobody can avoid that. So what is the goal of spirituality? Atyantika dukkha nivrutti. It means once for all you want to get rid of the sorrow. Niratishaya ananda prapti. That means bliss which is never ending. Because a lot of us, pleasure is fill up the gap. Interval between two pains. So we get that and then again pain, again pain. So this is, purpose is completely get rid of your pain and suffering. So that is the purpose. That is what the purpose of spirituality is. And everlasting bliss. Is there anybody who doesn't want that? Everybody wants, right? We want to end our suffering. That's what Lord Buddha's Four Noble Truths says. There is suffering and how to end the suffering. So the secret of happy living, that's what Lord Krishna said. So once you get it up permanently, for that he is analyzing why do we have suffering and pain? Because of desire. That is what, right? The Four Noble Truths, Lord Buddha, it is coming up. Maybe first is know that there is suffering and life is temporary. And why is it? Because Tanha, he calls Buddha, which he is Buddha anyway, is Siddhartha, he was a Hindu prince. He said the cause of pain is because of our desires. So here, why do we have desires? Beautifully Lord Krishna analyzed. Dhyayato vishayan pumsas sangaste puja. Because of you think about the objects, you get interested in them. And because you are interested in them, you want to get them attachment. Once you want to, you possess them. Oh, I want to have that particular thing, whatever it is in life, whether it is money or it is family, friends, relationships, or wealth or position, power, whatever it is, you have the desire for that. Most of the world, they say, Titrishna, Dhaneshana, Dareshana, Putreshana. Part of human life is surrounded with Dhaneshana. First, you want to have wealth. As the Swami says, like the earth is going around this sun, man from dawn to dusk, he is going around wealth, wealth, wealth. That is the cause of grief. That is what Dhaneshana. Dareshana, Putreshana. You want to have wife, children, then how to take care of them, how to then this goes on doing that. So for that, that is the reason you get the bound. So once you get the desire, kama krodho bhijayate. You have desire, if it is fulfilled, it is good. But it doesn't get fulfilled, right, all the time? If it doesn't get fulfilled, what you get frustrated, you get upset, you get angry, people get depressed, or many kinds of reaction will happen. Main thing is, but if desire gets fulfilled, what happens? Sometimes you want to have more, greedy. I want one house, I want one more house, I want one car, it may have two cars. Went one vacation, no, I didn't finish other tourist attractions, I want to go there too. So like that, everything multiplication, even good things like Nobel Prize winner, I know one of my friends worked in Caltech, he had already won, but he was not happy, he want 2, 3, like that. Even people in sports, they get, what is that, Grand Slam or something one time, you want another, like that, you want more and more. That is the human nature. This is when worldly desires, you want more, I want more. So if greed will happen, or you get frustrated and angry, krodhat bhavati sammohat, then the problem comes. You get deluded. That is what moksha is. And once you get deluded, your judgment is gone. And that is the start of your downfall. All our downfall is that starts with the first objects and then attachment. Then you want desire, then get frustrated, Then you lose your judgment. That means it happens like when you get angry, what happens? We all get bouts different degrees of anger. So when you go through that, you lose all your judgment. So people commit simple physical hurting to major things like murders, and people do that and and anger. Finally, what does it do? It can kill you. It can kill you. Anger. There was a book called "Anger Kills You." I thought, why does it kill? I actually saw two of in my family members who died because of that. He was only 35-year-old. One of my nephews, he was like a landlord, a big guy. So then our opposite party guy was criticizing, and he took a chair like this to hit him. Then this man got dropped dead. He died right away on the spot. And another man, he was 55. He was also big. All these people, big landlords, which they get the ego. And he was going, and his servant was criticizing him on the back when he was going in the village, in the fields. He didn't know that his master is actually, he was going in the front. He was criticizing. This guy was behind. He didn't know he was there listening. So this guy, hey, you are criticizing me. He got so mad. I'm going to punch you. And this man got dropped dead instead of feeling that. So really anger kills because it can really, now science shows that the catecholamines, they all released and they go to damage the heart, called catecholamine-induced myocarditis, and people can. So this krodhat bhavati, not only it is a mentally, your judgment goes away, it can also physically harm you. So we all know that how it raises your heart rate and blood pressure and your stomach upset. So many things can happen. So Lord Krishna says, just cut it at the root. If you don't have it, so like Ramana Maharshi said, the happiest one is, so there is a beautiful in Bhajagovindam. This person, yogi, it is Ashloka, his roof is the sky, and Suramandira Taru Mula Nivasaha, Suramandira Taru Mula Nivasa, Shaya Bhutalam Ajinam Vasaha, Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyagaha, Kasya Sukham Nat Karoti Viragaha. He says he sleeps in the precincts of a temple, because in India there are huge temples and there are lots of things. So he Suramandira Taru Mula Nivasa, there is a tree in the precincts of the temple. He sees under that is his house. Shaya Bhutalam. What is this beautiful bed? Earth is his bed. Shaya Bhutalam Ajinam Vasaha. What is the roof of his house? Sky. Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyaga. He doesn't have anything possession. Kasya Sukham Tanaroga. What pleasure he doesn't have. He has everything possible. But this is what he has. In ordinary sense, we think he's a miserable guy. No house, no roof, no nothing, no bed. But that is really the happiest. That is why he is Atmanyeva Atmanatushta, like a Ramana Maharshi who had a loin cloth. He was in blissful state and people all over came. So the main thing is viraga. So that is the one renunciation, detachment, dispassion is the one which takes us to the real bliss. Then he comes, okay, how do you control your desires? He gave a beautiful example. Like a tortoise, what does it do? So whenever it's a noxious stimuli, anything which is harmful, it withdraws its limbs into that, because the shell is very hard, it protects you, right? For the tortoise. Similarly, a wise man, whenever you find a distracting temptations, sense of temptations, this is the whole world, there is the way God created, so many temptations are there wherever you go. He withdraws from them, he goes away from them. Somebody says, go to Las Vegas. Oh, no, I don't want that. So just you go someplace where it's, bhajans and good. So anything, wherever distractions, he doesn't want to go there. So he withdraws his things from wherever there is sense distractions. Like the beautiful example, like a tortoise does that. Then what happens? Then he's happy. His senses are under control. But there is a problem. There is one thing he said. Sometimes you said, I want to be vegetarian. I know some of my friends. They're vegetarian, they don't eat meat because Swami said so, they control. But because of their vasana, what happens? They'll be thinking about it. Oh, when they see that, they will have the distraction. I wish I have that. One of my friends said, oh, chicken. Still, I feel like that. I think I need to turn away from that. That means still they have that desire, that longing. People, same thing, alcohol and cigarette. But some people, by God's grace, they don't even care. I don't. Some people don't have that. That's God's grace. But that craving will be there. A lot of people, because over lifetime they have given up. One of my aunts like that. So she was never eating, but at the time before death, for a few months, they have that craving. I want to eat that because in the early years they ate that, so that vasanas, these are called vasanas, tendencies come back. So how do they go away? Still you have that, then you'll be born again because of your vasanas. So because Swami says the only way you won't be born again is you need to get rid of the vasanas. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna said. He had a great devotee by name Girish Ghosh. He was a great devotee. But he was involved in all kinds of sense pleasure, drinking, everything. But he had absolute faith and love in Sri Ramakrishna. Then here, Sri Ramakrishna said he has 100. Now everybody has 100% faith. Highest he has 110% faith. That kind of faith. But he has still that vasanas. Swami said he's like a bowl where we have in a vessel. You put cook something, but a lot of garlic was there. You wash it and do, but still that garlic is so strong. Still that garlic sticks, that smell sticks to that vessel. So the garlic is so strong. How do you get rid of that? When you heat it up, the whole thing, that garlic smell is gone. How Sri Ramakrishna is a common example here. Similarly, that heating is the grace of God. Jnana, with that, even the tendencies you have, only by God's grace, even these little cravings, vasanas, will be completely gone. That is what Lord, another important point he says. And then we talked about last session that the people, if you want, everybody want to do meditation. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya cha nacha bhaveta shanti ashantasya kutasukam. Sloka 66 and 67 we said, you want to do meditation, as long as you don't control your senses and mind, you cannot do meditation. You just think you are doing meditation. Swami says that is just used to say is a stunt, a drama. When Prashant went after the whole thing, people line up to go into the mandir for meditation. And they say, oh, and they started. We used to sit in the veranda for enjoying Swami Darshan. They're doing stunt. That is all. They think they are doing meditation. No meditation. Because you need to be really prepared. That is why before that, in Ashtang Stotras, Patanjali Ashtang Stotras, first is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. Then comes Dharana and Dhyana. Dhyana is the seventh stage. So anybody says, I want meditation, did you do Yama, Niyama? That means control of the mind, control of the senses, control of the breath, and have proper posture, asana, should we have, and withdrawal from that. Then you are ready for not even Dhyana, still Dharana. That means you can think just one point only for 11 seconds. Swami said you will get darshan. So be able to think on the object. If you are 12 seconds, if you're doing that for 12 times 12, then only it becomes meditation. So whenever we think people do learn meditation, things, that is why Swami says, better if you cannot do it, go and do serve somebody, give food, serve water, or help, do some prayers, or do sing bhajans. For that is okay. But meditation, you need all this preparation. But for singing bhajans, you can sing anywhere, repeat his name anytime, anywhere, service anytime, those are easy. This is, but dhyana, meditation, one of the powerful ways to reach God. No question about it. That is why Swami himself wrote Gita Vahini, just about focusing on dhyana. But for general, most of us who have body consciousness, easiest is path of bhakti, the loving God, worship God, singing His glory, and doing His service, worship. So that is much easier to do that. So he says, if you are not able to control that, you can't do meditation. He says, if you cannot do properly this focus, you won't have the person who doesn't have ashanti, you won't be able to have shanti, peace. Ashantasya kutas sukham. If you don't have shanti, how can you have sukham, happiness? So without peace, there is Tyagaraja Kirtana is there. Shantamuleka saukhyamuledu. He used to say, Without having peace, you won't have happiness. So you will always be unhappy. So that is why Swami says it's not only Shanti, what is he wants us? Prashanti. That is why Swami says the one which is beyond everything, supreme peace that transcends everything. That is why Swami said that's what we should here. That also Swami has written Prashanti Vahini, how to attain that supreme peace. So I'll take a break here. Anybody any question before we proceed?
There's one question online. If one's only desire is God, is he reborn again?
No. So one's real intense desire for God, there is no rebirth. So that is the last. So only desire you can have is desire for God. That is why last time also, one time I discussed, we all have four purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. This is our scripture said and Manusmriti said. That means we need to do the righteous conduct, Dharma. Artha is earning wealth. We all need wealth to sustain our family, ourselves, and the society. And Kama, desires, which is desires which are pure desires. And moksha is ultimately liberation. Swami nicely said, dharma, artha you combine. So people don't do that. That means you attain wealth through dharmic means. Don't cheat people, exploit, take advantage of the things. Don't earn by unrighteous means. Dharma should be, dharmic means you do artha, you attain wealth. Because so many people, for the sake of wealth, how they do devious ways and cheat and all that. That is not good. That will be very sinful. You will be getting so much negative karma. So dharma, artha. And then kama, moksha. That means the desire you should have. We all have so many desires. But the only desire you should have is kama is for moksha. So if you only earn the dharma and artha, combine them. That means you earn wealth by dharmic means, righteous means. There is nothing wrong. And use it also, that wealth, for good purposes. Swami says, wealth, there is nothing wrong in money itself, but how it is used. If it is used for good purposes, like knife, Swami said, knife, there is nothing wrong by knife itself. If you used to hit some people, kill them, that is bad. But the same knife used in the surgeon's hands to save lives, because like somebody appendix, remove them, or heart surgery, you need knife. But the same thing could be used to hurt people, same. And same thing, wealth, you can use to help the society, used to help people, then it is good. But it is used for self-aggrandizement or sensual indulgence, then it is bad. So you need to use earn wealth by righteous means and use it like that. And the only desire you have is desire for God. Then it is not even considered a desire. Then there is no question of being born again. So as long as we have these desires, we'll be born to fulfill that. Because here desire for God means you are one with God. Where is the question of rebirth? That is what Sri Ramakrishna used to again always talk, because he was always with God intoxicated. He says people are mad in life. People used to call him madman of Dakshineshwar, because he used to never care about his body, and his wife, he used to worship her as Mother Kali. So they said he is out of mind. So then I think Vivekananda and others said, my father even wrote a beautiful poem, everybody is mad in life. Somebody is mad after wealth. They all think about wealth. And somebody is mad after power and position. Somebody is mad after just won't think about their family, then their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they never ends. So they have always think about it. He says, I'm mad after God. This is better madness. He is also mad, but that is what even Swami wrote a poem. I says, I will, he says, Pogotu, I will get rid of your madness of the world, and I will make you mad after God. Swami himself put a Telugu beautiful poem. My purpose is, I'll make you get rid of the madness of the world, and I'll make you mad after the God. That is the purpose, that is the desire we have, is it. Similarly, I will get rid of your tears, that means worldly grief, and I will make you tearful, but blissful tears, tears of devotion. Like everything beautifully, he wrote that Telugu poem. So in answer to that, yes, the only desire we should have is for God. That is why we said joy. How do you get joy?
Jesus first,
Others
others
next,
next, and I last.
So we need to have highest priority to God in life. The same thing with Swami Sai in life. Swami first, all others next, I. So if you have that desire that you have only want God, then it is the best thing that can happen. But as Lord Krishna said, many millions of people are there, handful only have interest in God. He says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidye yatat siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinnam veti tattvataha. There are millions of people, of them handful want to know the truth God. Of them, handful really realize God. Still again, will progress each life. That means we can imagine 8 billion people on this planet Earth. How many of them are devoted to God? Less than maybe 1%. Even 1% is good. I don't know this one. And of them, how many people one-pointed focus, like possessed only for God, that we will dedicate our life? Very few. Of them, people who tread that path sincerely are a handful. He himself said God, so we don't need to. But if you want to follow in the small group, we need to have the intense effort. Okay, there is a question, no more questions. Then he said nicely last time we talked 68 and 69, where he says, what is day for an ordinary man is night for a jnani. And what is night for a ordinary person is daytime for jnani. That means what we write right now is for him daytime. So if you really literal translation, it looks confusing because you think so many people in the nightlife, you go to Las Vegas, I heard people the whole night they will be, you think they will be yogis? Are people night watchmen? They don't sleep and they sleep in the daytime. Are they yogis? No. Here, there is an inner meaning. There is a literal meaning is that it means people, they are dead to the outside world, their senses. They are vacant. This means they are dead to the sense things. They are awake for the Atmic consciousness. Whereas ordinary people are dead for Atmic consciousness. They are awake for the sense indulgence. That is what. And Swami told a beautiful story. There was about a guru and his disciple. This disciple, first he was not a disciple. In those days, things were so strict. Swami is good in telling stories. So he was going near the river, and then he got a fruit there because he was hungry. An apple, he got it going in the river, and he ate it. Oh, then he realized this doesn't belong to me. I didn't earn for this. Where did this come from? He traced it and then found it is in the Guru's ashram. There is a tree with the branch down, and the apples were there, and they fell, and it came. So then he went to that man. Sir, I took this apple yet. So I know it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to you. What should I do to get back? That means pay it back. So he says, serve me for a few years, just for one apple. So he was going on with such a good man, he was going on serving. So he was impressed. My God, he's such a good boy. So he says he has a nice, beautiful daughter. He said, you will do one thing for me? He said, yeah, so marry my daughter. Then his daughter, she didn't even see him. He says, Dad, what, this guy, I'll get you married. And how is he? He is blind, he is deaf, he is mute, he cannot, he is lame. But this daughter is such a good girl. Look, whatever you say, Father, because she knows such a good man, he got married. Now after marriage, she saw, this guy is not deaf, neither dumb, he's so handsome. His father said, this guy is such a good, he's deaf to the outside gossip, rumors. That means he doesn't hear that, he hears only. And he's blind to all these sense distractions. He is mute, he doesn't talk anything about God. He's lame, that means doesn't go to any places which are not right, he will go to. So first it looked confusing. You're deaf, dumb, and blind and lame, but that is the way we should be. So use your eyes only for God, ear to hear about God, and mouth to talk about God, legs to go to the places. So that is what the inner meaning is. That when you take the literal meaning here, you get confused. Again, I will break. Anybody has any questions? No. Okay, good. What did you say, Ram? No, right? No. Okay, we are almost the end because it's 54 to 72 is Stithaprajna quality. Maybe we should finish it, then you can be enlightened within these 2-3 shlokas. So the slokas 70, we need to finish the Anisha Sarvabhutana. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramap pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. So he says he is the one who attains the shanti we talked about, shanti, supreme peace, peace that passeth understanding. First he says, who won't attain it? Kama kami, the one who has too many desires will never attain peace. First he's making categorical statement. Shanti mapnoti na kama kami, the one who has desires, he will never get peace. Then what happens? The one who is this enlightened man, he gave everything beautiful, like before he says, like a tortoise goes, he withdraws a man with the enlightened person. Or another place he says, even enlightened person, like a boat is, goes in turbulent water, so agitated. We get agitated when you are in sense distraction. Now he says, like in the ocean, all rivers go in, right? So many rivers, like in ocean, Ganges, Yamuna, here, any rivers, anywhere go there, the water doesn't swell up in the ocean, it doesn't go down. Whereas in a river, if there is no proper water, it dries up. If there's too much water, it can be flooding. The water can go overflow. Whereas all these rivers go into the ocean, it doesn't swell up nor go down. Similarly, this enlightened person, whatever happens outside, whatever desires, everything, goes thing, because he's also human, like Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, everybody, they are also human. But in them also, they live in the life, but everything goes, nothing perturbs them. And outside they look, but inside they're tranquil, serene, in bliss, happy, they radiate their joy. That is the quality. Apuryamana machala pratishtam samudramapah pravishanti sarve yadvat kamayam pravishanti. All these things go very happy. That what happens? How does he behave? Is the 71. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumams charati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashanti madhigachyati. Is important. Like the beginning and the end, there is a great teacher. It starts with the theme Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyeva atmanatushtas. That means he controls. Now again, same thing he said. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan. He didn't say some desires. All the desires he has done. Pumams charati nispruha. He goes around very happy, detached. Nirmamo nirahankaro. Two things. First he said how you won't get shanti if you have desire. Now he says he will get the supreme peace. Who? Nirmama nirahankara. These are the two greatest qualities. Says nirmama mamakara ahankara. These are the greatest obstacles. Swami says like a poison for a snake is in the fangs. And for us, this worldly thing, poison, is in two things. Mamakara, ahankara. Mamakara is attachment. This is my family, my friends, my house, my portions, my bank balance, my name, my position, my. That is the mamakara. Ahankara is, I did this, because of me this happened. These two are the greatest things, like the fangs of the poison. If you remove the fangs of the snake which contain poison, poison cannot hurt you. Similarly, in the world, even though we go around doing all activities, once we get rid of this mamakara and ahankara, then sashanti mavigachyati, then the person will get supreme peace. So there is the whole secret is how to get rid of that. This is the last sloka, will end. So this is then you are enlightened. 72, that is the one. Yesha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sthittasya antakalepi brahma nirvana muchyati. The one who is behaving like this all his life, even in antyakalepi, that means even in the last few moments of life, that means we all have to leave the body sometime, he is in that blissful state. He is not perturbed like Buddha was when he left the body. His disciple and his, I think his nephew Anand, he asked, "Oh, where she was crying." He says, "Why are you crying? I'm always there." He is bliss. And same thing, Swami. "Why are you crying? I'm in bliss." And Sri Ramakrishna, he had a throat cancer, and his disciples, one of the disciples, Nag Mahasaya, he was so devoted, he wanted his throat cancer. He has that power, even though he is disciple. And Sri Ramakrishna said, "Hey, rascal, I know what you want to do. Don't do that." Because he says, "I'm in bliss." He was really in a bliss in spite of the throat cancer where he couldn't even eat. So similarly, these people who are enlightened souls, Sthitaprajnas, so they are in that, even Antakalemi Brahma Nirvana Mruchati. They even in that stage, Brahmi state, this highest Brahmanandam. I said, we always, do you remember Brahmanandam we talked about many months ago? Anandavalli. So first stage is Manushya Ananda. Anybody who remembers? And go to the 10 to the power of 18. That is quadrillion times of the regular Ananda. So at least remember, what is Manushya Ananda? Anybody want to happy? This one unit of happiness is Manushya Ananda, human. What is that? A person who is youthful. Everybody wants to be young. I can see nobody wants to be get old. Oh, I'm now 40, I'm 50, 60, 70. So you want youthful. This person is very youthful. And youthful may be there, but you are very physically strong. And he is very intellectual. He is very sharp. And he is very scholarly. He knows all the scriptures. And he has lots of money. You may have some people scholarly, but they may not have any money. But this guy is all the wealth in the world. He may have wealth and knowledge and physical strength, but he has power. He can control anybody in the world. He may have all this, but no character. He's a noble character. All this he has got. That is one unit of happiness. So you go on going next stage. This is in Taittiriya Upanishad. 100 times that is Devananda, Manushya Gandharvananda, then Brahaspati Ananda, Prajapati Ananda. I don't want to tell. So many stages. That means that much. Imagine 10 to the power of 18. There is not million times, billion times, trillion times. This is quadrillion times. So that much happiness. This person who is enlightened, this Sthitaprajna will be there. So if you want to get that, we need to practice all this so we can attain. And there are people who lived in that blissful state. So we'll conclude here. So we finish that qualities and then we'll start again. Gita Vahini, we will continue the things on the page 70.